但是希望我们录国领上。但是希望我们录国领上。
That was Donald Trump golfing in Scotland and getting caught cheating, which is a recurring theme for this president. Cheated on his wives, cheated on his taxes, cheated on his loans, cheated his contractors out of payment, tried to cheat in the 2020 election, and is setting the stage to do the same in 2026 by gerrymandering even more state maps. And so it should come as no surprise that being a scam artist is so deeply embedded, so deeply ingrained in who he is that he can't get through a single fucking game of golf without cheating. This comes as Donald Trump is in Scotland on a working trip, as you can clearly see from the video clip I referenced above, which always manages to include some type of commercial for his own personal golf course.
I would love to see, today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right? And I look over the horizon and I see 9 windmills. It's like right at the end of the 18th. I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame. You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists, they're political hacks.
And if you're wondering why he's complaining about windmills, that's easy. It's because more than a decade ago, the Scottish government granted permission for a wind farm to be built off the coast that would be visible from Donald Trump's golf course. He sued to prevent it from happening, he lost in court, and 11 wind turbines were erected off the coast. The turbines are still there, visible from his property to this day, serving as a constant reminder of his failed fight against renewable energy in Scotland. And because he is a small, petty man who can't drop a grudge for his life, here he is more than a decade later, bitching and moaning about it while an exhausted crowd and exhausted world leaders sit by and judge. In fact, I spoke with member of the Scottish Parliament, Patrick Harvey, about exactly this phenomenon. Here's what he had to say.
Way back before he even announced that he was going to stand for the presidency the first time round, he was active in Scotland, both buying an area called the Many Estates on the Aberdeenshire coast. Now, at the time, it had the highest level of environmental protection that Scotland can offer. It was a site of special scientific interest and other designations as well. Because of its ecological importance, it was given this protection on paper. He turns up, flashes his money and says, give me what I want or I walk away. And the government essentially capitulated and allowed him to build on this environmentally sensitive site, which has now been trashed. It's lost its environmental status because of that. And this asset, the Many Estate, the Trump golf resort there, was one of the assets whose inflated value was cited in the court action against him on fraud charges. Now, at the time, he was also, as well as just wanting to get hold of that piece of land in Scotland, he was also campaigning against renewable energy. Because apparently his super rich pals are so emotionally fragile that they cannot possibly see a wind turbine on the horizon while they're teeing off. I think it's quite a silly agenda that he was trying to pursue, but he tried to take legal action as well to prevent the development of what was at the time a really, really important experimental test bed for offshore wind power. I'm pleased to say that development went ahead. And actually, renewables have been one of the real success stories in the Scottish economy. Other sectors of the economy have not done so well, either in terms of economic productivity or emissions reduction. But renewable electricity production has been a phenomenal success story for Scotland. So Donald Trump didn't get his way on that one, I'm very pleased to say. Even though he did manage to get his way on the golf course and to trash an environmentally important site. But it does show that you don't have to capitulate to these people. You don't have to give them what they want. And sometimes the one thing a bully really needs is to be stood up to.
So are you really surprised that Trump's personal grievances are the topic of this press conference? Truly shocking that a man who thinks only about himself continues to think only about himself. And by the way, if you'd like to watch that interview with member of the Scottish Parliament, Patrick Harvey, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell because that interview will be out today and he pulls no punches against the American president who is right now in his country. In fact, it's not just Harvey who's less than thrilled with Trump's arrival. Here was the reception that Trump got when he arrived in Scotland in Edinburgh.
The Scottish Government has bended the knee and kissed the ring. This is a protection racket. Donald Trump is a crook in charge of a criminal empire. He has come to Scotland and shaken down our government. It's like giving the school bully your lunch money. They will just keep coming back for more.
Although, frankly, that was a cakewalk compared to the reporter who managed to find Trump on the golf course and posed the one question that Donald Trump was trying to avoid.
Are you enjoying the Scottish hospitality?
There were Sky News questions, sure.
Mr. Trump, can you escape the Jeffrey Epstein crisis?
Maybe that's why we heard this.
What's that song? I don't know, it's very famous though. It's from a musical. Yeah. Memories.
Music boomed out from the convoy of golf carts, drowning out the surrounding sound.
I mean, this guy flew 3,500 miles away from home because for the last 3 weeks, he has been dogged, plagued by the Epstein scandal. A scandal of his own making, by the way. And his solution here was to seek refuge in a faraway land, waste some taxpayer dollars flying him and his team to his own golf course so that we can pay for him to funnel money to his personal business. And yet, even there, in his little safe space, he is dogged with the only question that he was trying to avoid. But hey, you know what? That's a good lesson in not fraternizing with a pedophile. Just a general rule of thumb for life. In fact, Trump was confronted on exactly that topic.
Mr. President, was part of the rush to get this deal done to knock the Jeffrey Epstein story out?
Oh, you got to be kidding with that. No, had nothing to do with it. Only you would think that. That had nothing to do with it.
Only you would think that. Right. Trump can't avoid a single question on Epstein for 3 straight weeks in the US, and then suddenly he's on a plane to Europe. But sure, he wasn't running away from anything. Got it. In fact, Trump's protests there do sound an awful lot like his protests here.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, did I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
In other words, we've now witnessed a recurring pattern wherein Trump demands that everybody stop talking about Epstein and pretends that Epstein is a complete non-story and embarrasses any reporters who dare bring it up. But the only problem is that the more he does that, the less everyone believes it. And the more compelled we all are to continue to dig even further. And thus far, digging further has revealed exactly what Trump has been pretending isn't the case all along, that he himself is in the Epstein files. And unfortunately for him, no amount of distance, no amount of international travel, and certainly no amount of golf is going to make us forget that. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.